Have you ever been somewhere that doesn't exist? That's what Evergreen Shopping Center feels like to me. It's not a real shopping mall. It's the one that's been living in my head. It's where our protagonist Billy is trapped for the duration of the film, searching for her dead husband. It's a place that feels so familiar. I have lunch at the food court every Saturday. So distant that it lives in a dystopian consumption-based future I haven't experienced yet. How do you make it real? This is the question I've been struggling with as I write. World building is so crucial to this script. To admit that you don't know what your world looks like can almost feel shameful. It goes against the I was born this way auteur filmmaking cult that I so desperately want to be a part of. But I've never been a natural. All I do is try. And even though I covet it, the contradiction is that auteur theory is the erasure of effort in so many ways.
The concept of an author is in fact a commonly held one, but indeed is highly problematic in the arts and the aesthetics in general, and is specifically a problem in the cinema.
So, without further ado, here are the contradictions and the effort it takes to build a surreal world. The place I always start when I don't know what I'm doing is influences. What is calling to me from the culture? What do I see in my head when I'm inside the mall? This is probably the crux of my dilemma. I'm seeing a lot of juxtaposing references. The eeriness of the apocalyptic mall featured in Dawn of the Dead 1978, and thousands of abandoned mall tours available on YouTube, like this one featured by This Is Dan Bell. These references are the more literal interpretation of a dead mall, the strange liminal space. But I also see futuristic science fiction like Blade Runner, glowing advertisements, neon signs, a place where supernatural things can happen. References from the camp classic Death Becomes Her keep popping up in my mind's eye. The bold colors, the dark comedy, Meryl Streep's body spun around, that hole right in the middle of Goldie Hawn. This film is not going to take itself too seriously. I want comedy and camp to be a huge part of the pathos. I made a stellar mood board in Millinote. Dusts shoulders off. Or is it shoulder? I don't actually know. But my references leave me a little more confused than when I started. I think it's time to take this research a little further and actually visit a dying shopping mall. Woodbine is a place I used to visit a lot as a child. It's such a bizarre mall now because you have this fully functioning amusement park with dinosaurs and carousels, but half of the mall is completely abandoned. The storefronts are boarded up. You can see inside a vacant Hudson's Bay. Rest in peace, Hudson's Bay. Gone too soon. From the accordion glass, I saw a Lancome counter so eerie it looked like AI. Wandering around the mall, I saw advertisement signs, just bare wiring and brackets where the branding used to be. The whole place felt like something time forgot, but oddly, something people still inhabit. That was the most interesting part. There were so many people in this broken down mall. People still felt the desire to be in this space, even though it's dying. The field trip is when something started coming together, because seeing Woodbine again didn't just give me research. It reminded me why I'm telling this story in a mall in the first place. I'm very nostalgic for the mall. Growing up, my mom worked at the mall. She was the manager of an adjoining bank branch. I spent a lot of time in empty offices playing mortgage lender with my sister, having lunch in the food court or the Zeller's diner, begging for whatever 90s trend was being aggressively advertised to us on YTV. I think that's where my derelict references come from. This urge for a childhood filled with consumption as a safety blanket, while also understanding the bleakness associated with that wish. The camp references, they help point out the absurdity of it all. But the futuristic references, those are coming from the whole point of the film. This deep desire to move forward, to create change in a life that is comfortable, but no longer working. This is why futuristic elements exist in my mall. They are offering Billy extraordinary options in an otherwise mundane, everyday place. The dissonance is the point. And that's the thing I was fighting the whole time. The need for everything to add up, to mean something, to belong to a coherent world. I've been watching Studio Ghibli films with my son in an attempt to feel better about giving him screen time when I'm just too tired to be a good mom. You can't judge me. It's Japanese high art. I rewatched Totoro with him and Ponyo for the first time. And in the context of the film I'm writing, I was struck by how this realism just happens. I spent some time researching how Miyazaki built his worlds, and I learned about his soft world building approach. In Miyazaki's worlds, things simply are. No explanation, waves that turn into fish, a cat bus. This is where it's all been leading. All this effort is creating contradictions, but once the world is created, it can just be effortless. I don't have to have it all figured out before I start. My surreal mall does not need to explain itself. It just needs to exist. Just like a fantasy fair can exist in the middle of a dying mall. Next time on Project Dead Mall. Who gets to be a protagonist? Mothers rarely get the part, so I wrote one.